with a belief that Sasha Banks will return to WWE and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. During an interview with Forbes, Saraya would be asked about the recent allegations of sexual assault against Vince McMahon, as she said, he's only been out for a couple of months. I feel like WWE is doing a really great job with Hunter in charge, and I feel like everyone backstage is very happy from what people have been telling me. People across the board are just happy. Not saying they won't be if Vince comes back, but I feel this breather was needed to really shake things up over there and get people excited. But if he comes back, is he going to undo everything Hunter has done? That's the question. You just don't know what's going to happen. I don't work there anymore, so I don't have to worry about it. I have Tony Khan, and he's fantastic as a boss to me. So if I have any issues, I can tell him, and he'll always be very clear with stuff. Whereas I just get nervous if Vince comes back for them because you just don't know what he's thinking on a day-to-day basis. When asked if his brother Jeff was supposed to win the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 24, Matt Hardy revealed on his podcast that, matter of fact, yes, he was. That was the plan, that he was going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. It was at this point they pulled the trigger and decided they wanted to turn him into the champion. I know Freddie Prinze had been given this edict to get Jeff ready for the championship. This was around the time, too, that he had started to paint his face again. I think they started to lean into some stuff that was very Jeff Hardy-ish. Jeff was in Mexico on an international tour, and it's at some point there he ended up taking something, some sort of pill or substance. I don't know if it was for his back or whatever it was, but he ended up getting popped in a drug test. One of the things I remember from the story is that Michael Hayes called him at home and was like, "What is going on here? Can't believe you did all this. Vince is going to call you in a few minutes, so be ready to answer the phone." Vince called and was like, "What the have you done?" I guess they talked it through, and Jeff said they spoke for a while and they seemed to be kosher. Jeff just apologized and regretted taking it. With Chris Jericho losing the ROH title to Claudio Castagnoli at Ring of Honor Final Battle, it seems higher-ups at Warner Bros. Did not want Jericho on the card. As Dave Meltzer reported, Tony Khan always booked it to end with this show. Sam Linsky and TBS actually were at first against Jericho as one of the top guys in AEW appearing on this pay-per-view show. Because of that, at one point the plan was for Jericho to lose in the four-way at Full Gear to Castagnoli, but that result reversed when everyone got on the same page regarding not being against Jericho being on an ROH pay-per-view show. Staying on the topic of AEW, it appears the look of the program is set to change. As Meltzer mentioned in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the company made a major hire this week with Michael Manzari as the new senior vice president and co-executive producer with Tony Khan going forward. He started on this week's television. Part of the deal is that WBD and Khan had decided to change the look of the show. The plan changes are to go into effect in January at some point. Manzari worked for WWE from 2009 until quitting the company in May 2020. He got promotion after promotion and was named Vice President of Global Television Production in 2016. With him starting his own promotion, Control Your Narrative, prior to his return to WWE, Braun Strowman would note that he still owns it in an interview with CBS Sports. The biggest thing was another avenue for people to go and do what they love. It was all financed by me and EC3. All the money that we ever made, which wasn't much, we put right back into the company. I was a firm believer in making sure if you wrestled on one of our shows that you got paid, because this industry is so cutthroat. A lot of stuff with this pay your dues BS that that everybody wants to say, and that pay your dues is lining some promoter's pocket on your hopes and dreams and broken back, which I get it. I mean, that's business. But I wanted to give an avenue for people to do what they love, hone their craft, be able to make some money, travel around, and have fun. At the end of the day, this should be the absolute most fun job you could ever have on earth. We get to travel around the world and fight with our friends and make money doing it, and how could you not? It's every 5-year-old dream, and it was just an opportunity to try and help others live theirs. And unfortunately, like I said, it's something that I still own, CYN. EC3's still doing some of them, so who knows what's gonna happen down in the future, but right now, I'm so blessed to be back home. I love WWE, I love the WWE universe. I've said this time and time again, I'm a firm believer that God put me on this earth to do this. I'm back where I belong, I'm home. It's good to be back, and I can't wait to keep making memories for the fans for many more years. Sticking with the monster among men, Strowman told CBS Sports how Triple H gave him advice recently, saying, "I literally had a conversation with Triple H about this a week ago because I was in a little bit of a mental funk the other day, and like, he's always so positive, always so chipper, always so smiley and excited, and I went to him. I was like, H, how do you do this?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "How do you keep such a positive mindset and balance all this stuff in life? I'm nowhere near as busy as you." And I was like, "You have this all together." And he goes, "Braun, you think I have this all under control?" He's like, "Dude, I'll tell you the biggest piece of advice I've ever gotten in my life. Control the stuff that you can and don't worry about the rest of it." Giving details on a longtime Vince McMahon supporter thinking the former chairman and CEO should not return to WWE, Dave Meltzer reported in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. What if he decided to upend the entire board? He has 80% voting stock and is still the largest owner of common stock. The class action shareholder lawsuits would cripple the entire company. The networks would balk. Fox had to get rid of Roger Ailes. I don't think they will be favorable to his return. NBCU is a prisoner of the deal, and even they spoke up about his TV appearances when he was in the headlines and still appearing on TV. The shareholder revolt would endanger the entire organization. This was a terrible shot today to the moving forward business as usual claim that was implemented by Stephanie Levesque and Nick Khan. Now the conspiracy theories will be all about Vince coming back. If he comes back, it's a scorched earth scenario. Unless he figures a lesser role, and how can he, of all people, take a lesser role? But the leak from his side is that he was given bad advice, so now he's blaming people. Speaking about the recent firing of former NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose over her adult content online, Booker T said on his Hall of Fame podcast, "It's a bad situation. The company being put in a situation where they had to do something about it. Mandy Rose putting herself in a situation. Put yourself in a situation, I say that all the time. That's real. You put yourself in a situation and something happens. That's exactly what happened here. I've been around Mandy Rose since the beginning, since Tough Enough. I watched her work so hard to win. She didn't win, but she impressed me to the point where I was like, give her a contract, put her in the game. Things didn't work out on the main roster. She went back to NXT and has been banging for the past 413 days as champion and created one of the most awesome runs for a female that we've seen in decades. I've been around a long time. I'm going to throw an analogy out there that is the stupidest analogy in the world right now. I used to love Gilligan's Island just so I could watch Ginger Grant. She was the hottest, biscottiest you ever seen back in the day and as sexual as you wanted to see a woman. If she was doing porn or exposing herself, do you think they would have had her on Gilligan's Island playing that role? It's a corporate thing. It has nothing to do with anything other than that. It's a corporate thing. Hopefully, Mandy Rose can find her way back to WWE. Something like this can blow over. It's up to Mandy in order to make something like this right more than anything. She's very sexual, but working for WWE, they go together in aspects. But in certain aspects, certain things you're not going to get away with. When it comes to who made Shawn Michaels aware of the adult content being put out by Mandy Rose, it was said in the Wrestling Observer that, according to those close to the situation, Matt Bloom informed Shawn Michaels about content on Rose's FanTime subscription service that had gotten more racy of late. While not confirmed, there are those who believe Rose was making more money posting photos and making custom videos for subscribers that contain nudity. While WWE in the past had marketed its women and was responsible for many posing nude in Playboy, that was in a different era, and what they found out about crossed what they considered the allowable line, given they had promised television partners and sponsors a family-friendly product. She was live streaming and getting tipped, and at one point, according to someone viewing the video, said if she wasn't tipped $400, she would end the stream. In another, she told her streamer to message her about what they want her to do in their custom videos. There were also multiple nude shots of her and her fiance, former WWE wrestler and NFL star Tino Sabatelli, in sexual positions. When Michaels found out earlier in the week about the new content, the NXT television show was rewritten, and Rose was ordered to drop the title to Perez. She was fired the next morning. Supposedly, she was blindsided about it. In a quick update on WWE's plans for Cody Rhodes when he makes his return from injury, the Wrestling Observer said that there will be more talk about Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes soon. Despite reports of Sasha Banks negotiating her release from WWE months ago and her rumored appearance for New Japan in January, Dave Meltzer reported that obviously if Banks goes back to WWE, this will be a short-term deal. Those in WWE believe she will be back at some point, but have no idea when due to the money issue. Of course, it would be reported that Banks is not allowed to wrestle for another promotion until 2023. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.